A lot of people say you need to study music before you can actually make something good, but that's not actually true. There are really only a few simple rules that matter, and once you know them, everything starts to click. So here's the version that actually makes sense for someone just starting out. At the end, we'll show what happens when we put everything together. As a hint, it's like blocks. In general, everything can be explained with a keyboard, either virtual or physical. If you don't have a physical piano like this one, we can go to a virtual one here. This is the virtual piano keyboard at onlinepianist.com. Then I'm also going to open a metronome. I'm going to go to musica with 2cs.com/metronome. So these are the two ones that we will be working with today. Make sure that plays. The first thing that we need to cover is musical timing and why it's important. You know, when you're listening to your favorite songs and you find yourself jamming your head or clapping, those intervals when you're jamming your head, you can think of each one of those as a beat. Let's go in a little more detail. So you know how your heart is beating and that's how you're somehow watching this video today? Well, we're going to use that as our example. If you put your hand on in your heart here, you can feel it beating. Hopefully. If not, you should call 911. Hold on, I can't feel mine beating. Okay, there it is. Bump, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Each one of those beats is a beat. So your heartbeat counts as a beat. Now, you'll hear the beats and how fast the beats hit called beats per minute. So let's say a healthy heart resting rate is like 60 beats per minute. So if we go to our online metronome here and we just drag this down to like 60 beats per minute and click start, you'll hear that the beat mimic what's happening in your heart. So whenever you take your pulse, you're finding out the beat of how fast your heart is beating blood to your body. So this is a similar situation. Now, and then we can also see the visual representation of each beat here. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And in this case, it is going to be, there are 4 beats within a section. Now, let's talk more about what a section is. Now, I'm going to actually open the software for this. You don't have to do this, but I'm just going to show you really quick. Now, see all of these bars here? You got a big, this one here, and there's a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4. And then after a while, after that, it changes colors. Each one of these is called a bar or a measure. Either they're used interchangeably. We want the elements of our song to fit within each one of these bars. That's what makes it sound good. You'll hear it called a 4/4 time. We have our drums here. If we click on the little steps here, these are called steps, like each of the first color, you'll see that it lines up here to the 1. This is in all of these like thick lines here. And you can see this here. This is a quarter beat, but we'll go to just beat. And see this here? I just changed the snapping and how many lines show up on the screen there. You see 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we play the kick, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice how 4 beats fit in that measure and they're equally spaced into like this type of spacing. This is what we'll call 4/4 time. This is a bit of an oversimplification of it, but this is all you'll need to know, especially once you start getting into the software. Now, if we wanted to change it up for it to be more like a 1, 2, 3 situation, if we go back to our online metronome and let's say we change it to, there would be 3 beats in a measure. And I'm going to speed this up so we can actually hear it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That is what is 3/4 time. Also, a bit of a simplification for it, but there are 3 beats within the measure. Notice how there are 3 dots here. If we compare it to the 4 beats in a measure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. They're equally spaced apart. And in order to practice this, you can clap along to it like a 1, 2, 3, 4. for now, just focus on the 4/4 time. You won't need to get into 3/4 until later on. So yes, that's the basics of what you need to know to get started making music now. Now let's talk about the anatomy of a keyboard. It's like, first of all, what is a keyboard? A keyboard is a musical instrument. It's often used interchangeably with a piano. If you haven't seen a piano before, that's what a piano looks like. A keyboard is just taking the section of it that is literally the keyboard portion. So this is where you actually play or press down on the buttons. When you press down on one of these buttons, it makes noise. And those buttons are called keys. And there are white and black keys. If we go back to the virtual piano here, we've got all of these notes here. Let's turn off the sustain here. And if you're playing around with this, if you can show what keys you need to play on your actual PC keyboard in order to make the noises you want on here. So let's say we press T on the computer keyboard, you're playing the C here. So the bottom notes here, these are telling you what the note names are. Same thing up here. We've got white keys on the bottom, and we've got black keys here. For the purposes of this video and getting you able to start music like right away, don't worry about these black keys. Just know that each time you move up, the black keys are holding the space for a note in between the white keys. And notice as you go up the piano, it's higher in sound. This is called pitch. This is a higher pitch. And then as you go lower, it goes lower down in pitch. So, aww. So if you try to sing along, then yeah. How do you make this work? This is where notes come in. So every time you click one of these buttons or press one of these buttons or keys, it produces a sound. That sound is called a note. Here are the notes. The white keys only to start. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Then it goes back to C. So this whole array here, it repeats up and down the keyboard. So you will only need to remember 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 keys if you're just dealing with the white keys. And for our purposes, yeah, that's all you need to worry about. Now, the black keys here, we will acknowledge they exist. And each one, like, you'll hear them referred to as sharp or flat, so I'll just go through them here. So C, C sharp, because it's going up from the C. D, D sharp. E, F, F sharp. G, G sharp. A sharp. B, C. And then if you're going down, you may hear it referred to as, hear these referred to as a different name, where it's going to be referencing the note above it. So if we go C, B, B flat, A flat, G, G flat, F, E flat, D, D flat, and then C. Now that we've covered the notes, we got to talk about how to make them do stuff. Well, let's talk about a musical frame of reference. You'll hear this referred to as like a scale or a key. But for our purposes, we're just going to go through one of these. Now there are a lot of them, and they use different combinations of notes. But in order to get started here, let's do the C major scale. And I'll explain why it's a C major scale in just a moment. So C major scale has C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So again, that's boom. Okay, so we've got that. And you can also go down. So C, D, A, F, D, C. It only uses the white keys. It's called the C major scale because the main note, the home base, is the C. So everything it feels like C needs to be the main character here. So C is the main character, and this is why C is called the root note in this case. So if you hear the term root note, and it's referring to like any frame of reference, like key or scale. Let's say we have the G major scale, so that's G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, F sharp, E, D, C, A. G is the root note, it's the home base, because within that frame of reference, everything tends to go down. It feels like G needs to end it. So anyway, that's how that works. Now, why is it called major? Because major is more, think of major as happy. Major as happy for our purposes. C major scale. Now, if we compared that to, let's say, the C minor scale, which you don't need to know this, but this is going to be, it's more sad, it's more angsty. It's like C, D, C. Versus the C major scale. So angsty versus happy. Another example of a minor scale that we'll actually be using, and you'll see that I use a lot talking with students as well as in a lot of the videos, is A minor. So what is A minor? Take a guess on what A minor is. Just take a moment. So A minor, A is the root note. A is the home base, it's the main character. And then it's like, it's angsty. It's emotional, it's dramatic. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, G, F, E, A. Boom. Now, they have the exact same notes. So what's the difference? Well, one is ending on the A, and one is ending on the C. So if you did just like, compare it if we started with just doing the C major. And then if we did it with the A minor. Just, it feels very different. And the end notes end differently. So anyway, we've got that. Now we need to somehow make these notes do something useful. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to create some elements in our song based on the musical timing that we've learned and the frame of reference that we've learned. We're going to break down these elements of a song that you'd be creating in your music creation software. I'm using FL Studio, and if you don't have the software yet, you can just play around with the virtual keyboard for now. That is perfectly fine. We can turn on the metronome within our song here. So I just opened the channel rack. So this is called the channel rack. Channel rack, say hello. And we just press this ring thingy here. And if we press the either space bar or the play button, that is our metronome. It's also called a click. You'll hear it referred to as both ways out in the wild. Now let's make something. Now the first thing I'm going to show you how to do is make chords. It's when you're playing multiple notes together at the same time. We're going to just go through 4 common chords that you'll hear out in the wild with your favorite songs, your favorite artists, all that. So there's the C major chord. Just the C major chord is C, and it's a similar situation with how within the frame of reference we had C as the root note. That's our home base, and then the major defining what scale or key it is, like what frame of reference it actually refers to. Is it angsty or is it happy? So C major chord, similar thing. C, G, root note is C, and or the main character note is C, and it is happy. Another one that's super common is the G major chord. So G major is D. Now, take a guess, what is the main character note in the G major chord? It's G. And since it's major, it's happy. It's like, so far we have C major, G major. Now, let's talk about an A minor chord. An A minor chord has A, C, E in it. Now, the root note, the main note, is A. And it's angsty. It adds drama to our song. Then the last one that we're going to cover today is going to be the F major chord. So the root note, main character is F. Then we got A, C. It's happy. It's not angsty. This is angsty. This is happy. Now, with every element of our song, we want it to be within the same frame of reference. So whether that be G major, A minor, C major, whatever. But for our purposes, we're just going to use good old C major. We're going to use the C major scale and key to use those chords and make them happen. And the first thing we're going to make is a chord progression. So the chord progression is when we're putting multiple chords together in a sequence. I'm going to show you how to do that. Notice how these things are building on each other. I'm going to go to my software. I'm going to go to the piano roll. Make sure that you have FL keys selected. If not, then just go here and then just go FL keys. And then this should pop up. How do we create a chord progression? We put chords together. We can mix it with musical timing as well. So let's turn on our metronome really quick. And let's go down to like 70 beats per minute. I'll go back to our piano here. Start with C major. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. There, that's your first chord progression. Now, you may have noticed that I was counting 2, 3, 4. What does that mean? So, we are holding those chords out for what's called a whole note. So that is 4 beats. So let's say we got 2. Oh, we gotta actually start the metronome. All right. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Now, if we wanted to as well, we could make those chords go by faster. And we could use half notes instead of whole notes, where they go 2 beats instead of 4 beats. 1, 2, 4. 2, 4. 2, 4. 2. And then, what we can also do, we can make them go really fast by using quarter notes. Quarter beats align with each beat. So here's how this one's gonna go fast. So if you need to slow it down, feel free to do so for this one. So we will combine all of these in order to create our song. Now, if we go back to our music software here, we can create those chords by going to the piano roll. They're picking FL keys here. Gotta click that orange thingy and then go to the keys button. And then it's gonna be different based on whatever software you're using, but just look for a piano roll. If you need to Google where the piano roll is for your software, then that works. I'm actually gonna just record these in. So here's the chord progression: C major, G major, A minor, and then F major. Sounds good already. Now, I do want these chords to be lower, but I want them to have the same identity. Now, this is where we can move it down 1 octave. So an octave is 8 notes. And once we do that, rather than it being on a weird note that's not the notes we want it to be, it'll still be on the same note types. It'll just be lower. Lower. You can even go lower, down another octave. And you can also go up octaves. So I'm just using Control arrow key to move it down. I like it down here. So we'll go with that. And now you have your first chord progression. That's great. Now we need to make it work together. This is going to hold down, tell us which notes we want in our main tune, which is what we're getting into next. Our melody. A melody is just that main tune. It's the words that you sing to your favorite songs. That tune is the melody. So in order to create our melody, we're just going to use the 3-note rule. We can use the 3 notes that are within the chords to create a simple melody. So we'll just copy this, and then we can go by just doing those quarter notes. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's a nice simple one. If you use the notes that are in the chords, it will always sound good. So you can play around with it. You could even make it shorter, and there are different timing names for these, like 1/8 notes. They're half of the quarter notes, so it's like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So it's counted with ands. So because you got to be able to fit them in there. You can also mix those in there as well. But for our purposes, we'll just do a little quick. As you go along, you can play around with the notes that are not on the chords. And you go into more detail with this in the beginner program if you want to check that out. But those often act as transitions to get to the next chord, chord tone. And the chord tone is just the note that lines up with the chord that's playing. G, G. And then we can repeat this pattern across all of them. So in order to do that, we've got our root note. So for the G major, it's going to be that G. And then we're going to have the middle note here, and that's E for the C major. It's going to be B for the G major. And then we've got our high tone here, our high note, and that's going to be D down here. So just, you can match it up to the lines. Same situation with A minor, even though it's angsty, same sort of situation. And here's how it sounds. Turn this up. And you can play around with the orders and the order and how long each note plays as well, but you'll have a guaranteed sound good as long as it's lining up to these lines here. Great. You can save it. So that is our melody. That is how it sounds played together. A melody is what your listener and yourself is actually going to follow along with in order to keep track with your song. And it's the interesting part. It's the main part. Now let's talk about one of the main final elements here. And this is going to be a bass line. Now, Stephanie, what is a bass line? I'm going to tell you. Bass line is the lowest part here for a lot of songs. And it is, a lot of times you won't necessarily hear the bass line, but you'll feel it. And it rounds out that final bottom half of the sound scale. Now, here's what we mean here. All we need to do for a simple bass line is to take the root notes and make them lower. So an easy way to do that is to just select and copy and paste it. Or you can just click around and add it. And yeah, I'm just going to do that for simplicity's sake. So we got C, G, A, F. And what you could also do, you can break it up. You can make it a little faster. The bass line a little bit faster and change up the rhythm. That is the main term of musical timing, rhythm. So anything referring to like the musical timing, you'll hear it referred to as rhythm. So if we broke it up and did like doubles here, like that, so that now we have half notes because it's like 2 of these and then 2 of these. You can have like something like this. You can even try it going lower. Notice how it just rounds things out. I tend to like lower bass lines and having more space to fill things in here. But just for simplicity's sake and to explain what music is, we're going to keep it like this. So nice and simple. You could also split it up to quarter notes as well if you wanted to. The faster things go, then the more intense feeling it sounds and the more hype it sounds. But you can check out other videos on the channel for more info on that. And you can use this little split tool here, slice, split, whatever it's called, to split it up even more if you wanted to, and you can experiment with wonky sounding stuff. So this is a great way to experiment with that. So you can come up with some pretty cool things here. You can do this with your melody and your chords as well. But we'll just do a nice, just do that here. And we'll have it play on every chord. So now that we have that, we can start playing around with some drums. And you might be like, what the heck are drums? So drums they look like this. If you see people jamming on like with your band, you got this. These are what drums look like. Yeah. So I do not play drums very well. So this is why I like music production. So music production allows you to create music within the software and play instruments that you just would probably never play in real life. So anyway, so we've got the kick. That is our big bass drum. That is like the one that gives it the rhythm. This big thing right here. That's the bass drum. And we'll just do a quick little, I don't know, you can just right click and fill each 4 steps and just trust me on this. It's going to sound good. By going each 4 steps, it's going to just play on each beat when the metronome plays. And really quick as well, if you ever wanted to just slow down the song, this is where you adjust the tempo. And this is what the beats per minute measures. So if you want to just slow it down, you can slow it down here. I actually like the 130, but you can go down here. That actually sounds pretty good, but we'll just leave it at 130 for simplicity's sake. Anyway, and then we got a clap. It's just a normal clap. You can just go through and just click on every red starting one here. I'm going to adjust the volume with this knob here. And then if we wanted to add a little hi-hat here. And what's a hi-hat? It's also part of the drum situation, but it looks like I gotta find a good picture of it. This thingy, this section here, that is a hi-hat. The drummer steps on a pedal and it either closes it or opens it, and it gives totally different sounds. It's really cool. You guys should really watch it. I don't know which one this one is, so I'm gonna test it. This one is a closed hat, so like this. If it was open, you'd see a little gap in between it. Anyway, and it's also indicated by like an O or open hat. We can just right click and fill every 2 steps. So this is going to play like the 8th notes. So 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom! And you can also replace the clap with the snare if you wanted to. I personally prefer claps to snares, but hey. And the snare is this drum, and it sounds like this. And there are different sounds depending on what the snare is. A lot of these are computer generated, or a lot of these are also recorded from IRL, so it just depends on whichever one you got. So that is our first song segment. And yeah, so this is what happens when you put everything together. We got our drums, we've got our chords, and you can middle mouse click to change it. Our melody and our bass line. So that we've got this. So yes, all of this builds onto each other, and this is mainly what you need to know to start making music. And as you continue through, you will learn different things that you may never know the name of, because I have a lot of those. I don't know a lot of the technical jargon, the technical terms, but I know that it sounds good. So if you don't know all the fancy terms, you don't really need to do that. The whole goal is to make music. Because if you know, if you can recite a whole, music rules or music theory book, and you can't make music, it's useless. So no matter how much you can spew out. So, hey, great job, guys. Just to wrap up, we covered musical timing, also known as rhythm. We talked about the basics of what a keyboard is, like, and what everything is on here on this thing. We talked about what a metronome / click is and how to use it, and what different basic elements of a song are. So you got your drums, you got chords, melody, bass line, and how to make them, the basics of how to make them, so that you can get started. If you're ready to use these music rules to make your first song in 30 minutes, check out this video here. It's somewhere over here.